Don't hit the heavy bag like this. Do hit the heavy bag like this. So, do you want to hit the heavy bag like a pro? Then make sure you avoid these mistakes. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video for my #1 tip and a free heavy bag workout. Number one that I see people make is that they have no defense involved in any of their heavy bag workouts. So when they're hitting the heavy bag, they're throwing punches and they're dropping their hands as they're retracting them. Or they're not working on any type of defensive maneuvers at all. Now the thing is, obviously the heavy bag's not gonna hit you back, but you want to be building the muscle memory, so this way, when you do sparring or maybe you potentially fight, you have these muscle memory blocks and evasions and defensive maneuvers built in. So one thing I like to do and teach my students is after every combination they throw, whatever it is, they add some type of defensive maneuver, whether it's a check, whether it's a lean back, or whether it's a catch a kick, or maybe it's a check on the opposite side. Whatever it is, I'm always trying to add some defensive maneuver into it, so this way it just locks into my brain and locks into my muscle memory. The second mistake I see people make is that there's no footwork and no movement at all. They just stand in front of the heavy bag and they punch and kick and knee and elbow and expect the heavy bag not to hit them back. Now fortunately the heavy bag won't hit you back, but your opponent when you spar or when you fight will. So it's really good. It's a really good habit to get into moving after you throw every single strike and practicing your footwork. So just like with the defensive maneuver after you throw a combo, you can also work on your footwork and your movement after your combination. So I'll throw a combination, and then I'll move. Or maybe I'll throw a combination, and then I'll move the other way. This is a good way to add some defense and evasion into your combinations, but you can also start the combination with some type of footwork or movement as well. So maybe I'll step to the side and open up, and then I'll attack with a combo. Or maybe I can even fake and then step to the outside and then throw a combo. Whatever it is, I want to make sure that I'm not staying too stationary and I'm working on some type of movement and footwork. The third mistake I see people make is that they pretend like they're fighting little children or midgets most of the time. And usually you don't want to be caught in this situation. And so why are you punching down on the heavy bag, okay? You're usually going to be fighting someone about eye level from you. So you usually want to be trying to punch at least eye level. Now obviously you want to attack the body every now and then, but I see way too many people when they're trying to attack the head, they get a little mindless and all they're doing is punching like chest level, where you're fighting someone a lot smaller than you. And if you're fighting someone a lot smaller than you, you're in the wrong sport, all right? Or you're super, super tall. Either way, you want to make sure, regardless of your height, you're punching at least eye level, ideally a little bit higher, so you can work on that shoulder endurance. The next mistake I see people make is not using the bag's movement as a way to improve your training, improve your technique, improve your footwork and everything. Usually when the bag's moving, people will try to like stop it, or they'll actually literally just like grab it and stop it from moving, okay? Sure, you can do that, but I like to use the bag's movement as a way to improve my footwork, improve my timing, my distancing, and everything, okay? So sometimes when I throw a combo, maybe I'll I'll move back, I'll time it so when the bag is coming in, I'll step right into a knee. Or maybe the bag's coming in, maybe I'll fake and turn and use some of my footwork then to attack, okay? I like to use my strikes to stop the bag's movement. I don't want to just stop it, okay? I can even use some defense. I can use the long guard and like a stiff arm to stop it. Or I can just use a hard 1-2 to stop it, okay? The main idea is you don't want the heavy bag, you don't want to just stop the heavy bag and then start your combination again. It's not like in a fight, you're going to be able to just grab your opponent and be like, wait a second, I want you right here. Okay, now I'm ready, and then you're gonna attack, right? So using the heavy bag's movement to your advantage and working on your footwork, your defense, your timing and distancing is gonna be super key. The next mistake I see people make is that they load up and telegraph their strikes, okay? It doesn't matter what strike it is. It could be punches, kicks, knees, or elbows. But a lot of people, especially when hitting the heavy bag, they have this false sense of security because the heavy bag's not hitting them back, is that they'll load up and really open up. So this way, when they throw the strike, yeah, I'll have a lot of power, but one, your opponent will most likely see it, and two, it opens you up for the counter. So when you're throwing strikes like this, it's gonna be really easy for your opponent to see what's coming in a sparring or an actual fight. So whenever you're throwing strikes, you wanna try and make everything nice and smooth, nice and quick, because speed is gonna be more important than power in most cases. So make sure you're doing your best not to have any type of tell when you're throwing your strikes. In addition to telegraphing your strikes, a lot of people end up overextending, especially on their punches. So if I overextend and I lean forward as I'm throwing this strike, first off, all my weight is on my lead leg, and this isn't gonna be good in Muay Thai because then your lead leg is gonna be chopped in half. Also, as I extend from here, my ribs are completely open and vulnerable to a counter kick or a counter knee or counter anything, really. And all my power and balance and control is pretty much gone after this, okay? I'm gonna have to completely reset and get back in position, which can take like a whole second, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in the context of a fight, it's a long time. I wanna make sure I'm always balanced, always in control. That's the name of the game when it comes to Muay Thai. So when I'm throwing my strikes, I wanna try to keep my head above my body. Once my head goes too far back, or too far forward, like I'm saying with this overextending and overreaching, your balance and center of gravity is all off. So whenever I'm throwing strikes, I'm trying to keep my head right above my body. So this way I have complete control and complete balance. So this way I'm ready to attack and defend at any moment's time. Now, one of the most common mistakes that I'm even guilty of making, especially with my kicks, is the retraction of the strike. So this is true for punches. You see this a lot with people who are just learning how to box, is that they'll punch, and then they'll bring their arm down and around. They'll punch, bring it down and around. You want to punch and bring it right back to your face. Punch, bring it right back to your face. Same idea with kicks, okay? I don't want to kick and just bring it straight down like this, okay? I'm out of position. Now, yes, you can throw this kick and come into your opposite stance. That's a more advanced maneuver. But what I want to do typically is I want to throw the strike and then come right back. So this way I'm ready to continue this combination or defend any type of counter. So after I throw a kick, I want to make sure I get right back into a fight stance. So I kick and then I come right back. Kick and then I come right back. So I'm always ready to attack, always ready to defend. Next mistake is people don't fake or feint at all. Now, in the early stages of your training career, it'll be kind of not easy, but you're more likely to get away with just throwing strikes without any type of setup. But if you want to get more advanced and you want to make sure you're landing as much combinations and strikes as possible, you want to make sure you're throwing some fakes to get your opponent to react. Now, obviously, the heavy bag's not going to react. It's not a living thing most of the time. And so you want to pretend that this is your opponent and you want to get them to flinch more or less. So maybe I can just fake the jab and then I'll come with the hook. Maybe I'll fake the teep and then come with a roundhouse. Or maybe I'll fake the teep and come with a switch knee. Or maybe I'll throw a combination, then I'll fake, and then I'll come with a kick. I want to mix in as many feints and fakes as I can. So this way it becomes a natural feeling whenever I'm throwing combinations that the fakes are just naturally going to come, as opposed to forcing them and making them almost look. You don't want to make them look like a fake, if that makes sense. So you want to make sure that it all come like natural as you're doing it. Little hip turn, little shoulder turn. That little bit of movement is going to make a huge difference in getting your opponent to freeze and react based off you, which is going to open up a lot of opportunities for you to land some strikes. And one of the most common mistakes that I see people make is that they don't breathe and they don't relax. Sabai, motherfucker. You want to relax, you want to chill out, okay? And obviously it's much more easier said than done, but a lot of people are super tight, and they're trying to throw these strikes with a lot of power, and so they're tightening up all their muscles while they're throwing, okay? The idea is you want to be nice and relaxed. That's the whole idea of the Muay Thai stance, having a nice rhythm. And then when you throw the strike, that's when you explode. That's when you tighten up really quickly. Then you land the strike, and then you release again, okay? So what I like to do is after I throw every combination, I like to step back, usually with a defensive maneuver. Maybe I'll throw the combination and I'll teep, and then I'll take a big deep breath and relax and try to loosen my shoulders. Sometimes I'll shake my arms out, sometimes I'll shake my legs out, sometimes you roll up your tie shorts, whatever it may be, okay? But it's really good to get into some type of routine whenever you throw a combination, is stepping back and breathing and catching your breath. The breath is such an important aspect of fighting. Once you lose your breath, you lose your gas tank, and once you lose your gas tank, you're gonna lose the fight. And the last mistake, which is kind of a combination of a bunch of things, is you essentially have no structure, no intention, and no focus in your heavy bag training. You just go up to the heavy bag, you start wailing it mindlessly without any type of focus, and that's really, I mean, obviously it's good to show up to the heavy bag and be banging it, but if you have a focus and intention and actual things that you want to work on, that's where you're going to see some major improvement because you're actually intentional behind your strikes. It's not about putting 10,000 hours in, it's about putting 10,000 focused, intentional hours in. That's what's going to make the biggest difference. So showing up to the heavy bag, maybe today I want to focus on my southpaw stance. So I'll just work on everything from southpaw. Or maybe one round I want to focus just on boxing. And maybe another round I want to focus on body kicks. Whatever it is, I usually want to pick some type of intention behind each round, or at least each workout. So this way I'm intentional behind everything I do. So you know what mistakes to avoid now, and now it's time to get into the workouts, right? So you can check out one of these heavy bag workouts right here, super popular. Just follow along, press the video, and start banging the heavy bag. Or for a complete heavy bag program, which has over 55-star reviews, you can check out the heavybagblueprint.com and get a free pair of Knock Boy Nation gloves with your purchase. I'll see you in the next video.